In order to start day trading effectively in 2026, you need to develop a strategy and an edge in the market. Today, I'm going to give you a complete beginner's guide to trading support and resistance, which is a strategy that has made me over $70,000 in 1 month. This has well helped my students make over thousands of dollars a day in my Discord, where we live trade this very simple strategy every single day. You see, developing a strategy as a beginner trader is something that's not easy. A lot of traders hop on the charts and they don't even have a clue what they are looking at. They don't know what a candlestick is, how it moves, etc. So developing a strategy is not always easy for them. Well, rest assured, in today's video, I'm going to give you a complete beginner's guide to trading support and resistance. I'm going to show you the results that it has produced me the past few months, as well as my students. I'm going to show you how you can develop an edge trading it, and then I will give you some live backtesting examples. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel so we can grow the audience and spread more trading content. And if you want to join the live trading Discord, where we trade this strategy every single day, the link will be in the description. Without further ado, guys, let's get into the charts.
So guys, before we actually get into the charts and looking over the basics of support and resistance, I want to first get out of the way the transparency and the results that the strategy can actually produce. Because what good is the strategy if it does nothing for us? So we'll take a look here, and as you guys can see, so far in December, I'm filming this video on the first week of December. I'm trading on my live account now, so as you guys can see, it has been a super good week. Clearly a green week. This day was break even. I mean, I know I lost $64, but I like to count it as just a break even day. If you look at November, over 19.6K in the month. Another great month. The reason these numbers are much bigger is because I was trading on 10 Apex accounts, okay? 10 copy traded Apex accounts, so that's the reason these numbers are much bigger. If you want to trade on 10 copy traded Apex accounts as well, the link will be in the description with using code JMM. Now it gets better. In October, I had my biggest month ever, profiting over $73,000 in the month. We traded a lot of days. The Apex accounts were cooking. Now, the reason I am not trading the Apex accounts in December is because of December price action. I'm sure you guys that are traders have heard how bad December price action is. And if you are a new trader, you must become aware of how bad December price action is. So I am not trading my 10 Apex accounts in December. I'll be trading a smaller sized account in December, hence why the numbers are smaller. But if you just look and you go back, I mean, look what this strategy of support and resistance has produced me. You can see in August, another good month. Go back to July. I mean, every month has just been profitable, 5 figures profitable using this strategy. So this strategy clearly works, and I'm here to teach it to you today. The next thing I want to go over is actually the way my students benefit from the strategy. Every single day we live trade this exact strategy in my Discord room. You could see here, look at all the people. Undefeated week for Hayden. Somebody started their fresh new funded account here and profited $200 on the day. You just look and you scroll up, you could see plus $993, plus $260, plus $790. That was a paper trade, but you get the strategy. People are just feasting, guys. This strategy, I mean, look at all these people, $1,000+ on the day. So clearly this strategy works, and it works well. If you want the opportunity to trade this strategy with me like my students are every single day in the live trading room, the link for that will be down in the description. Not forget to check it out. Now, without further ado, we got the results out of the way. We got the transparency out of the way. Let's actually head into what support and resistance is, what the strategy. Now, without further ado, guys, we got the strategy. Now, without further ado, guys, we got the transparency. We got the results out of the way. Now, let's actually head into the charts, look at support and resistance, what it actually is, and how you can benefit from it. All right, everybody, so here I am on the charts. This is specifically the S&P 500, SPX 500. We're going to go over what support and resistance is. Now, I know you guys see the candlesticks on the chart right now, but let's actually go over some basic idea of what support and resistance is. So support and resistance is just the idea of price not being able to break past a certain area. Okay, that sounds simple, but it actually may be a little bit more difficult than you think. And let's actually head into why. So let's actually draw out this piece of structure right here. I'm sure you guys have seen something like this before from a trader. So let's just go over it again. We'll draw out something that just looks like this. So the first thing we want to do is look at these tip areas right here. We have not one, not two, but 3 areas right here on this top out where price could not make newer highs. Price halted itself here and came back down. It tried again to make new highs up here, but could not and came back down. And then it came back to the same area right here and could not make new highs again. So what did it do? It came back down. Well, this right here is your area of resistance. And allow me to explain that a little bit more. Being that price could not break past this area once, twice, and not 3 times, this now becomes your area of resistance. All you are looking for with areas of resistance is price coming to an area and halting and stalling at that area several times. Okay, so you have price coming to this area, it could not make new highs. So what does it do? It dumps down. You look for the retest of the area. Did it make new highs? Did it break through it? Absolutely not. So it comes back down. Already that becomes your area of resistance. You only really need 2 touches in an area for it to be a valid area of support and or resistance. Now what is support? Support is the same thing. We have a touch here and a move up. We have a retest here and it didn't make new lows. It continued to move up. It came back again, couldn't make any more new lows, and it's made its way up again. So based on the areas of resistance, that price comes to this certain area and cannot make new highs. If support is just the opposite of that, this would be your area of support right here. And then when price comes back down to it, like you did here, you can look for a bounce off the area. So that's the basics of support and resistance. Now I'm actually going to get into drawing them out on the charts for you guys. Now, before we get started with actually drawing out specific support and resistance examples on the chart, I want you guys to know that support and resistance can be used on any time frame. Me personally, I prefer to draw out my zones on the higher time frames. Anywhere from the 30-minute to the 1 hour to the 4-hour time frame are the zones I prefer. Those zones are always going to be respected a little bit better than lower time frame zones. Not to say you can't use lower time frame zones. I know traders who make plenty of money using support and resistance on the lower time frames. But just to let you guys know, price does respect certain areas when they are on the higher time frame. So now that we got that over with, we are currently on the 4-hour time frame here. Let's look at something. If we look at this area right here, bang, what happened? Price came down and tried to make new lows, but it could not. It halted, and now we have the massive move up right here on the 4-hour time frame. Same thing here. This wick shows that price tried to make new lows, but it could not. It stopped and price made its move up. You go a little bit to the left here, to the right here. It shows price tried to make new lows down in this area, but could not, and price made its move up. Even right here, this black candle halted, and then price made its move up. Even better, you bring it over here, price tried to make new lows down here, but couldn't, and then it halted its way up. So if we look at this entire area right here, we can look at what price did here, and we could just draw something that looks sort of like this. And there's your zone. The touch here, the move up. The touch here, the move up. The touch here, the move up. The touch here, the move up, and it comes back down here, and you could even see, hey, look at all these touches over here that did not hold. They moved up. They could not make new lows. Buyers use this area of support, and they push price up every single time. So now when price comes back down to this area, you can anticipate the same thing occurring. Of course, you take that with a grain of salt, but you can anticipate the same thing occurring. You can take a trade that looks something like this because you anticipated the bounce off the zone, because history tends to repeat itself with support and resistance. Same thing here when we're looking for an area of resistance. If you look at this entire area right here, price tried to make new highs but could not and dumped down. It comes back up to this area, tries to make new highs and dumps down. Same thing, comes back up to this area, tries to make new highs and dumps down. You can now look at this entire area and mark this off as your area of resistance. So price tried, couldn't, comes back up, could not, comes back up, and then you can anticipate again, okay, it's trying multiple times and failing. I'm going to look to get in a bounce play off of this zone right here. As you guys can see, the trade would have worked out. Now, if we look at this image here on equity.com, we can see what support and resistance is clearly outlining. If you take a look at my cursor here, we have price try to come up to this area and fail. It comes back up to this area and fails again and makes its move down, hence that being your resistance line that I showed you on the charts. Same thing here. You have this area where price tried and failed. It moved back up. It came down, tried and failed the same very area again, using it as an area of support to move up once again. The saying history tends to repeat itself with support and resistance is my favorite saying because it shows that where price once was and buyers or sellers moved price off of that area, you can expect them to do it again. Now, what you're seeing here is probably a little confusing. Yes, Just because price breaks through an area does not make that area invalid. As you can see, this is an area of resistance right here. Price breaks through that area, comes back down and retests the area. Now this just becomes a newfound area of support for price. You don't have to delete the zone of resistance that was once here just because price breaks above it and retests it. All it does is just become a newfound area of support for price. But I hope you guys are starting to understand the gist of it. You are starting to see that, hey, look, areas where price makes new highs or new lows and continues to fail to do so in that same area, that becomes your area of support and resistance. You are looking for bounces off the same area. So let's go plot some more levels before we start backtesting. Let's take a look here at price real quick. We have price making lower wicks down here, sellers trying to push price down, but buyers halt it and make a huge move to the upside. Same thing, you come here, these wicks are trying to break through this area that was once held up by buyers, and buyers once again held the area, forcing price to move up again. What we can now do is take this very area, mark it off from body to wick, like this, and if you drag it to the left, you can see price continues to hold at this area. You have the move up right here. Sellers tried to bring price down at this area, buyers halted it, and all of a sudden you see a huge move to the upside. Well, what happens again? Price comes back down to this area right here. You can enter the trade on the close of this candle or whatever based on your confirmations. Then you can target the next prominent area of market structure, and there you can see again, you would have hit a nice trade. If we look at this area right here, buyers tried to push price up, but sellers formed this wick and then dumped price down. What happens when price comes up to this very area once again? Buyers tried to get past this area again with these wicks, but seller says no, and the price dumps down. We can take our box and we can mark out this whole area right here. As you guys can see, as I stated before, buyers tried to push this area up and it absolutely dumped. So when price comes back up to the very same area, you can then look for the retest and you can see that price dumped once again, and you could target, like I said, the next prominent area of market structure, and you would have been able to hit another trade right there. I hope you guys got the gist of how to draw support and resistance zones and what they are. Now let's actually get into some live backtesting examples so I can show you how this works in real time. If we take a look at this example right here, we see that price is trying to make new lows down here. Sellers are trying to push price down here, you could tell by this wick, but buyers say absolutely not and push price up with a nice move. Take your tool and mark out your area just like this. Now it is time to wait for price to come back into the area just like it does here. You get the price to come down into the area, and you can see that sellers are trying once again to push price down out of the same area as this right here. But buyers say absolutely no, causing the wick and then in the engulfing candle to the upside. You can then enter the trade off the engulfing candle, showing that buyers are prominent in this very area they were once prominent over here. You can put your stops under the zone, and you can then watch the trade play out. Next, I want to show you a specific example of support becoming newfound resistance. If we look back at the example here, we can see that this was once a resistance line. If you remember, I said just because price breaks through the line and comes back and retests it right here does not make it a failed area. It just turns this once area of resistance that price was under into a new area of support that price is now above. Back on the charts here, we can see that price tried to make new lows down here, but instead buyers pushed price up. I think you guys are getting the gist of what I am looking for in a support or resistance zone. Therefore, we can mark out this very area right here just like this. As you guys can see, price broke through this area right here. It did not withhold the area. It did not come down and bounce off like this. It broke through the area and is continuing to make new lows. Now, we can simply wait for the retest of this zone for something like this to occur. We don't have to treat this zone as invalid, as I've said many times. As we can now see, price comes back up and retests the zone right here. We get the wick candle showing that buyers tried to push price above it, but sellers flipped it downwards. The price continues to accumulate in the area, and eventually we get the engulfing candle filled with bearish volume, further confirming that sellers are very present in this newfound area of resistance that was once support. We can then enter the position off the selling engulfing candle, showing us that sellers are present. We can put our stops above the zone, our take profit at the next prominent area of market structure, and we can actually watch the trade play out. Next, we can see here that price once again tried to make new highs with this area, but we get a huge move to the downside. pulls back up, makes another huge move to the downside. We can then take our tool and mark off this very area right here of resistance. You can see price tried to make highs off this area, but instead we get a huge dump to the downside, making this an area of resistance. We now see that price pulled back into this very area, is rejecting it by showing all the wicks, and once again, the selling engulfing candle. This candle right here is confirming that buyers are pushing volume off of this zone that once pushed volume off the zone as well. And as you can see, the saying history tends to repeat itself really holds up. We can then enter the trade off the engulfing candle, as always, stops above the zone, take profit at the next area of market structure, and we can watch this trade play out. Alright guys, so I hope you guys got a gist and an understanding of what exactly support and resistance is, the results it produces for me and my students, and how to actually use it when trading. I want to leave you guys off on the 5 simple steps that I use when trading support and resistance. Step number 1 is to look for areas with huge moves. I think we identified that plenty of times. In order for a support and resistance zone to either be valid, you have to have buying or selling coming off that area. You cannot just look for random candlesticks and mark them off as support or resistance. You have to look for areas that have massive moves with volume coming off of them. Step number 2 is to see if price moved off the area more than once. I think clearly we outlined multiple times in the video today that we have multiple moves coming off this area. We cannot just mark off an area because one candlestick did something. We need sellers or buyers to show us that because they rejected price off this area once, they will do it again. Step number 3 is to wait for price to return to the area. Okay, you cannot just take a trade in a random point. You need price to be in and trading in one of these areas of support or resistance to either take a trade off of it. Step number 4 is to wait for buying or selling pressure to enter the trade. Look how I was trading when I backtested. I waited for wick candles, doji candles, and engulfing candles that showed me buyers or sellers, depending on the area, were prominent about rejecting the area once again. And finally, step number 5 is to have stops above or below the zone as we did, and take profit at the next prominent area of market structure as we did. Please guys, if you want to screenshot this part of the video so you have this step-by-step list, please do whatever you have to do. But without further ado, that's going to end it off for me, as I appreciate you guys all being here and hope you guys got an understanding of what support and resistance really is. Like I said, if you want to be a part of my community where I live trade support and resistance every single day, the link for that will be in the description. But without further ado, I hope you guys have an amazing holiday season, and happy 2026 to you all who are starting to trade.